Tonight, we journey back to the Roman Empire, not to tales of gladiators and conquest, but to the inner world of a man who ruled it all, Marcus Aurelius. Imagine, if you will, the year 175 AD. The vast Roman Empire stretches across continents, a tapestry woven with threads of power and ambition. Yet, within the heart of this immense empire, in the quiet chambers of his palace, sits a man wrestling not with legions, but with himself. This is Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, a philosopher king whose reign was marked not just by military success, but by a profound inner peace, a serenity he sought to capture in his personal journal, Meditations. Picture him, if you can, in the fading light of a Roman evening. The sounds of the city, the distant clang of a blacksmith's hammer, the murmur of conversations drifting on the breeze, are muted, almost whispered, as they reach his private sanctuary. He sits, perhaps, on a low stool, a scroll of parchment resting on his lap. The ink, still slightly wet, reflects the flickering lamplight. He's not reviewing military strategies or dictating edicts, but engaging in a far more intimate battle, a battle against his own anxieties, his own doubts. He writes of virtue, of living in accordance with nature, of the fleeting nature of life itself. He reminds himself, and us, that external events are beyond our control, but our response to them, our inner world, is where true freedom lies. This wasn't a man consumed by the trappings of his power. He understood the impermanence of everything, the transient nature of glory and earthly possessions. He sought not to conquer the world, but to conquer himself. Imagine the weight of the empire resting upon his shoulders, the countless decisions he must make daily. Each choice carries significant consequences, affecting the lives of millions. But amidst this monumental responsibility, he seeks refuge in Stoic philosophy, finding solace not in the adulation of crowds, but in the quiet contemplation of his own thoughts and actions. He understands that true strength lies not in brute force, but in inner resilience, in the ability to face adversity with equanimity. He writes of death, not with fear, but with acceptance. He understands its inevitability, its inherent part in the natural order. This acceptance, this understanding, is not born of apathy, but of a deep wisdom, a recognition that life's precious moments are to be savored, not squandered on anxieties about what might be. He sees the beauty in the simplicity of existence, the warmth of the sun on his skin, the gentle breeze rustling through the trees outside his window, the quiet companionship of his thoughts. He is not detached from the world, far from it. He understands the weight of his responsibilities, and he carries them with a sense of duty and compassion. But he also understands the importance of finding inner peace, of nurturing his soul, of cultivating a quiet strength that allows him to navigate the complexities of life with grace and resilience. He writes of death, not with fear, but with acceptance. He understands its inevitability, its inherent part in the natural order. This acceptance, this understanding, is not born of apathy, but of a deep wisdom, a recognition that life's precious moments are to be savored, not squandered on anxieties about what might be. He sees the beauty in the simplicity of existence, the warmth of the sun on his skin, the gentle breeze rustling through the trees outside his window, the quiet companionship of his thoughts. He is not detached from the world, far from it. He understands the weight of his responsibilities, and he carries them with a sense of duty and compassion. But he also understands the importance of finding inner peace, of nurturing his soul, of cultivating a quiet strength that allows him to navigate the complexities of life with grace and resilience. And so, as the night deepens and the Roman city sleeps, Marcus Aurelius continues his quiet reflection, a testament to the enduring power of self-mastery, a lesson whispered on the wind of time, even to us across the centuries. Let his quiet wisdom now lull you into a peaceful slumber. The year is 1201 AD. Imagine a world bathed in the golden light of the Roman Empire, a world of sweeping marble colonnades and the murmur of countless voices. In this world, a boy named Marcus Aurelius was born. Not just any boy, mind you. He was born into the heart of power, cradled in the purple embrace of the imperial family. His destiny, it seemed, was written in the stars, etched in the very stones of Rome. From the moment he drew his first breath, the weight of expectation settled upon his small shoulders, a weight far heavier than any child should bear. His early years were a tapestry woven with threads of privilege and rigorous education. He wasn't simply allowed to play. He was trained in rhetoric, honing his ability to speak with grace and power, trained in philosophy, delving into the wisdom of the Stoics, learning to find calm in the face of chaos, trained in the art of governance, absorbing the complexities of Roman law and administration, as if preparing for a role that was both inevitable and immense. He moved through the sun-drenched villas and bustling forums, surrounded by tutors, mentors, and the ever-present shadow of power. Picture him, a young man, poring over scrolls filled with the words of Epictetus and Plato, seeking not just knowledge, but wisdom, a guiding light in the labyrinth of imperial life. He wasn't merely learning facts. He was shaping his character, molding his mind into an instrument capable of governing a vast and complex empire. The lessons weren't always pleasant. They weren't all about the pomp and circumstance of power. They were about responsibility, about justice, about the burden that comes with wielding authority over millions of lives. But the weight of the purple, the weight of expectation, was always there. It wasn't a crown that sat lightly on his head. It was a mantle woven from duty and responsibility, draped over his shoulders from the very beginning. The sheer scale of the empire, the vastness of its reach, must have often seemed overwhelming, even to a young man as disciplined and studious as Marcus. He witnessed firsthand the machinations of courtly life, the whispers of intrigue, the constant jockeying for position, the power struggles that could topple even emperors. He watched, he learned, and he absorbed the lessons, both grand and subtle, the intricacies of diplomacy, the delicate balance of military might, the complexities of managing a sprawling bureaucracy. All were absorbed into the fabric of his being. And yet, amidst the pomp and ceremony, amidst the weight of his destiny, he clung to the principles of Stoicism, finding solace and strength in the pursuit of virtue, seeking not power for its own sake, but as a tool to serve the people entrusted to his care. The path ahead was long and arduous, fraught with challenges and uncertainties, but even then, in his youth, he prepared himself for the formidable task that lay ahead, a task defined by the weight of the imperial purple. Rest now, the story continues. Now, as the gentle hum of the night settles around you, let's drift back in time to the heart of the Roman Empire. Imagine the weight of the world resting on the shoulders of a single man, Marcus Aurelius, emperor and philosopher. His life, a tapestry woven with threads of both immense power and profound personal struggle, was deeply shaped by a philosophy that continues to resonate even today: Stoicism. Picture Marcus, not as a conquering emperor on the battlefield, but as a man wrestling with the complexities of his own mind and emotions. The empire, vast and demanding, presented endless challenges. Barbarian invasions threatened the borders, political intrigues simmered within the court, and the weight of governance pressed upon him constantly. Yet, amidst this chaos, he found solace and strength in Stoicism. This wasn't a religion, mind you, but a way of life, a practical guide for navigating the turbulent seas of human existence. At its core, Stoicism emphasizes reason and virtue as the paths to a fulfilling life, regardless of external circumstances. Imagine it as a sturdy ship designed to weather any storm. The ship is you, and the storms are life's inevitable challenges. Stoicism provides the sturdy hull and the reliable sails. One of the central tenets of Stoicism is the concept of virtue as the sole good. For Marcus, this meant focusing on inner qualities like wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. These were not fleeting emotions, but deeply cultivated character traits that shaped his actions and responses to the world around him. He believed that true happiness didn't hinge on external factors like wealth, power, or even health, but resided within the cultivation of these virtues. Think of it like tending a garden. The flowers are the fruits of virtue, and only by diligent tending will they bloom. Another key element of Stoicism is the acceptance of what we cannot control. Marcus frequently grappled with events beyond his influence: the unpredictability of war, the machinations of courtly politics, even the whims of fate. He didn't attempt to deny these realities, but instead learned to focus his energy on what he could control: his own thoughts and actions. This wasn't passive resignation. Rather, it was a strategic redirection of focus, a mindful choice to concentrate energy where it could be effective. Imagine a river flowing. Stoicism teaches you to navigate the current, not fight against its inevitable flow. His personal journal, Meditations, offers a glimpse into his inner world, revealing his ongoing struggles with self-doubt, anger, and frustration. These weren't weaknesses to be ashamed of, but rather opportunities for self-improvement, chances to refine his virtuous character. He used his journal as a tool for self-reflection, a space to examine his thoughts and behaviors, to identify areas where he could exercise greater self-control and align himself more closely with the principles of Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius's life demonstrates that Stoicism wasn't a retreat from reality, but a robust framework for engaging with it. Even facing the immense pressures of his imperial reign, he found peace and purpose in his commitment to virtue and acceptance. His story, etched in the annals of history and reflected in the pages of Meditations, offers a timeless lesson. True strength lies not in controlling the world around us, but mastering the world within. As you drift off to sleep, consider the gentle wisdom of Stoicism, and may it guide your own journey. Imagine, if you will, the weight of an empire resting on your shoulders. The constant demands, the endless parade of advisors, the ceaseless pressure to maintain order and prosperity. This was the reality for Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor from 161 to 180 AD. Yet, amidst the chaos and grandeur of imperial life, He found solace in quiet reflection, in the turning inward of his own mind. His personal writings, a collection known as Meditations, offer us a rare and intimate glimpse into the heart and mind of a man burdened by immense responsibility, yet striving for inner peace. It wasn't intended for publication, you see. These weren't grand pronouncements or political speeches. Meditations was a private journal, a space where Aurelius could explore his own thoughts and feelings, untroubled by the demands of his public role. He wrote in Greek, his native tongue, allowing for a fluidity and intimacy that would have been lost in the formal language of state affairs. He penned these reflections during his military campaigns, during the long hours of travel, amidst the bustle of the court, moments snatched from the relentless demands of his position. He grapples with the ephemeral nature of life, the constant flux of things, a common thread weaving throughout his writings. He reminds himself and us that everything is in constant change, that nothing remains the same. This understanding, far from being depressing, seems to have provided him with a source of strength. By accepting the impermanence of the world, he seems to have found a way to free himself from the anxieties attached to striving for control. He reflects often on the importance of virtue, of living a life guided by reason and justice. Not as grand pronouncements for his subjects, but as personal reminders, almost whispered confessions to himself. He struggles, as we all do, with anger, with frustration, with the imperfections of others, and, perhaps most surprisingly, with his own failings. He doesn't shy away from his weaknesses. Rather, he uses them as opportunities for self-improvement, a constant process of self-examination and refinement. Consider this passage, a quiet meditation on the nature of self. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Such simple words, yet holding within them a profound truth. He urges himself, and by extension us, to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, our reactions, our inner lives, rather than becoming consumed by external events beyond our influence. The tranquility he sought wasn't a passive resignation, but rather an active engagement with the world. He understood the value of duty, the importance of serving the common good. But he also knew that true strength lay not in outward displays of power, but in the cultivation of inner peace and wisdom. He reminds himself again and again to focus on the present moment, to avoid dwelling on the past or anxiously anticipating the future. To appreciate the small things, the simple joys that life offers. To find beauty in the natural world, in the simple act of breathing, in the quiet moments of reflection. These aren't lofty philosophical pronouncements. These are the quiet, persistent musings of a man striving for a life of meaning and integrity amidst the extraordinary challenges of his position. And in doing so, he left behind a legacy, not of imperial conquest, but of enduring wisdom, a gift passed down through the centuries, reaching even us in the quiet of our own slumber. Now, breathe deeply, and let the echoes of his gentle wisdom carry you into a peaceful sleep. The weight of the world. That's what governing the Roman Empire must have felt like for Marcus Aurelius. Imagine the endless stream of petitions, the constant demands for justice, the never-ending need to maintain order across such a vast and diverse land.
It wasn't just the paperwork, you see, the endless scrolls detailing taxes and troop movements. It was the people themselves, their hopes, their fears, their very lives resting, in many ways, on his shoulders. And then the barbarians. The pressures at the borders were relentless. For years, a simmering tension had existed with the tribes north of the Danube, a collection of Germanic peoples known as the Marcomanni. They weren't simply raiders, opportunistic bands looking for easy plunder. This was something deeper, a complex web of shifting alliances, grievances, and territorial disputes that threatened the very stability of the empire. These weren't fleeting skirmishes. These were full-blown wars. The Marcomannic Wars, they call them, a long, grinding conflict that stretched across many years. Imagine Aurelius, amidst the turmoil of the court, suddenly thrust into the harsh reality of the battlefield. Picture him, not simply a philosopher king studying Stoicism in his quiet chambers, but a general leading legions, facing down charging warriors, mud and blood clinging to his armor. He saw firsthand the brutality of war, the suffering it inflicted on both sides. He witnessed the devastating loss of life, the destruction of homes and villages, the deep scars left on the landscape, and the ever-present fear that gnawed at the hearts of his soldiers and the civilians caught in the crossfire. These weren't abstract concepts to him. They were the harsh realities of his daily existence. They shaped his thoughts, his leadership, his philosophy. The campaigns were grueling, exhausting. Think of the long marches across rugged terrain, the freezing winters in the exposed borderlands, the constant threat of ambush and surprise attacks. Aurelius, leading his men, would have felt the weariness of endless campaigning, the ever-present uncertainty of battle, the profound relief of victory, and the crushing weight of defeat. He bore the burden of strategic decisions, the agonizing calculations of risk and reward, the unbearable responsibility for the lives of his soldiers. Through all this, his Stoic philosophy provided a framework. It wasn't a detachment from suffering, but rather a way to endure, to find inner strength amidst chaos, to act justly even in the midst of bloodshed. He learned to accept what he couldn't control, to focus on what he could. The Stoicism he embraced wasn't a passive resignation, but an active engagement with the challenges he faced, a dedication to doing his duty, even amidst unimaginable pressures. And the Marcomannic Wars? Well, they were a crucible, forging his character, refining his understanding of humanity, and shaping his legacy. The weight of empire, it never truly lifted, did it? But Aurelius carried it, through years of war and peace, with a quiet dignity that resonates even now, all these centuries later. Let that peaceful image of strength settle over you as you drift off to sleep.
Imagine, if you will, the weight of the world resting on your shoulders. Not just a metaphorical weight, but the literal responsibility for the lives and well-being of millions. This was the reality for Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, philosopher, and a man who grappled constantly with the conflict between his duty as ruler and his deep-seated desire for inner peace. His reign, spanning much of the 2nd century CE, was a period of both relative stability and significant upheaval, a testing ground for his commitment to Stoic principles amidst the chaos of empire. Governing the Roman Empire wasn't a matter of simply issuing decrees. It was a constant negotiation, a delicate balancing act between maintaining order and respecting individual liberties, between enforcing laws and promoting justice. Aurelius inherited a sprawling realm, a tapestry woven from diverse cultures, religions, and political ambitions. Rebellions simmered on the frontiers, threatening the very edges of the empire's vast reach. Internal disputes among senators and officials chipped away at the foundations of power from within. Each day brought new challenges, each decision a potential ripple effect with unforeseen consequences. The weight of these responsibilities pressed heavily upon him. His personal writings, collected in Meditations, reveal a man wrestling with doubt and anxiety, constantly questioning his actions and seeking solace in philosophical reflection. He wasn't immune to the pressures of his position. He felt the sting of criticism, the burden of loss, and the constant threat of violence. Yet he held steadfastly to his Stoic beliefs, reminding himself to focus on what he could control, his own thoughts and actions, while accepting the things beyond his influence. This wasn't a passive acceptance, however. Aurelius understood that his role demanded action, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable difficulties. He dedicated himself to diligent governance, striving to administer justice fairly, to provide for the needs of his people, and to protect the borders of his realm. He understood the intricate workings of the empire, its complex legal systems, its economic dependencies, and its deep-seated social hierarchies. He worked tirelessly, often at great personal cost, to manage the affairs of state, even while he sought to cultivate inner tranquility. The conflict between his desire for quiet contemplation and his responsibilities as emperor never truly resolved itself. It was a constant tension, a continuous dance between the demands of leadership and the pursuit of personal peace. He found refuge in his philosophical studies, drawing strength from the writings of Epictetus and other Stoic masters. These writings served as his guide, helping him to navigate the treacherous currents of political maneuvering, military conflict, and personal hardship. They provided a framework for understanding suffering, for accepting fate, and for finding meaning amidst the chaos. Aurelius's leadership provides a compelling case study in the complexities of governance. He reminds us that true strength often lies not in the absence of struggle, but in the courage to confront it, to embrace the challenges, and to strive for equilibrium in the face of adversity. His legacy is not only one of successful empire management, but also of a sustained commitment to personal growth, even under the extraordinary pressures of immense responsibility. So, let his story be a quiet companion as you drift off to sleep, a reminder that even in the midst of turmoil, inner peace remains a possible and worthy aspiration.
The weight of the empire rested on Marcus Aurelius's shoulders, a weight not of gold and jewels, but of countless lives, hopes, and anxieties. He wasn't a man who sought power, rather he inherited it, a responsibility he approached with the quiet dignity of a Stoic philosopher. His reign, a long and arduous journey across the shifting sands of time, was marked not by grand conquests or flashy displays, but by a persistent, quiet striving for justice and compassion. He understood, deeply, that true strength wasn't found in brute force, but in the unwavering application of reason and virtue. Imagine him, in the dim light of his study, poring over legal documents, each case a human story unfolding before him. He wasn't driven by personal ambition or the clamor of popular opinion. His decisions stemmed from a profound desire to act justly, guided by the principles of Stoicism that had shaped his life. He sought not to punish for the sake of punishment, but to restore balance, to heal the wounds of society as best he could. The empire, you see, was far from a peaceful paradise. Wars raged on its borders, threatening to engulf its provinces in chaos. Yet, even amidst these turbulent times, Marcus Aurelius strived to maintain a sense of order and fairness within his own domain. He knew that true strength lay not in conquering enemies, but in ruling justly. He saw his role not as a supreme ruler wielding absolute power, but as a steward of the people, entrusted with their well-being. He listened carefully to the pleas of the common folk, those often overlooked in the grand schemes of empire. Their voices, though sometimes faint amidst the din of political maneuvering, held a profound significance for him. He sought to understand their grievances, to acknowledge their pain, and to respond with the empathy that his Stoic philosophy demanded. For him, compassion wasn't a weakness, but a testament to strength of character, a recognition of shared humanity. His commitment to Stoicism wasn't a rigid, unyielding code, but a living philosophy that informed his every decision. He understood that life is filled with challenges, with pain and suffering, and that true virtue lies in facing adversity with grace and resilience. He attempted to lead by example, displaying patience, fortitude, and a steadfast commitment to what he believed was right, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable obstacles. The pressure undoubtedly was immense. The expectations were unreasonable, the challenges unending. Yet, night after night, amidst the flickering candlelight, he maintained his resolve. He knew that he could not solve every problem, that some injustices would remain unaddressed, but he dedicated himself to the task, driven by the conviction that even small acts of justice and compassion could ripple outwards, creating a more harmonious society. He labored not for glory, but for the well-being of his people, guided by the unwavering compass of his Stoic heart. And as he worked, weary but resolute, the empire, in its own way, mirrored his quiet determination, his enduring commitment to a just and compassionate rule. Let this image of quiet strength settle over you, now as you drift toward peaceful slumber.
Imagine, if you will, the weight of an empire resting on your shoulders. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, felt that weight every single day. Not the gilded weight of a crown, but the heavy, pressing burden of responsibility for the lives and well-being of millions. Wars raged on the borders, conspiracies simmered within the palace, and the endless demands of governance pressed in from all sides. Yet, amidst this maelstrom, Aurelius cultivated a remarkable inner peace, a serenity that shines through his personal writings, his meditations. How did he do it? The answer, whispered on the pages of his journal, lies not in escaping the chaos, but in understanding it, accepting it, and focusing on what truly lay within his control. He understood that the anxieties that plagued him, the anxieties that plagued us all, often stemmed from things entirely outside his power. The actions of others, the whims of fortune, the unpredictable tides of war. These were forces he couldn't directly command. He wouldn't try to. Instead, he trained his focus inward on the principles he held dear: reason, justice, and virtue. Each day, he would examine his own thoughts and actions, striving to align them with these principles. This wasn't a rigid, unforgiving process, but a gentle, ongoing practice, much like tending a garden.
He would weed out the negative thoughts, the anxieties, the resentments, the self-doubt, and nurture the positive seeds of wisdom and compassion. Aurelius viewed external events not as personal attacks or injustices, but as opportunities for growth. A border skirmish wasn't a personal affront, but a challenge to his leadership, a test of his ability to respond with courage and wisdom. A political conspiracy wasn't a threat to his life, but a chance to discern truth from falsehood, loyalty from treachery. He saw the world as a grand, complex tapestry, and his role was to play his part with dignity and grace, accepting both the triumphs and the hardships as integral threads in the overall design. This doesn't mean he was unaffected by the turmoil around him. His meditations are filled with honest reflections on his struggles, his doubts, and his fears. But within those very reflections, we see the process of his self-improvement. He didn't shy away from confronting his imperfections, but instead used them as stepping stones towards self-mastery. He practiced self-compassion, understanding that even emperors are human, prone to error and weakness. He reminds us that the work is ongoing, that it is in the steady, persistent effort, not the flawless execution, that we find peace. This inner work, this constant self-reflection, wasn't some magical escape from the harsh realities of life. It was a way of engaging with those realities with a greater sense of clarity and acceptance. It's a quiet strength, a still point in the center of the storm. By focusing on his inner world, on his thoughts, his actions, and his principles, he found a sanctuary within himself, a space of tranquility that even the tumultuous world of imperial Rome couldn't fully penetrate. And that, perhaps, is the most enduring lesson of Marcus Aurelius. True peace isn't found in escaping the world, but in finding a quiet strength within ourselves, a strength that allows us to navigate the complexities of life with grace and resilience. Breathe in deeply now, and let the calm settle over you. The flickering lamplight cast long shadows across the parchment as Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, paused in his writing. The quill rested, a feather-light touch against the aged paper, mirroring the gentle rhythm of his thoughts. He wasn't contemplating the intricacies of governance tonight. Instead, his mind drifted to the quiet corners of his life, far removed from the clamor of the Roman Senate. His family, a source of both joy and sorrow, occupied his quiet moments, their faces gently etched in his memory. His mother, Domitia Lucilla, a woman of quiet strength, had instilled in him a love for literature and philosophy. He remembered her gentle voice reading aloud from Virgil, the cadence of her words a soothing balm against the anxieties of childhood. Even amidst the grandeur of the imperial palace, the warmth of his mother's embrace was a constant haven, a reminder of simpler times, of simpler joys. Her quiet wisdom, imparted not through grand pronouncements, but through patient guidance, helped shape his understanding of compassion and empathy, qualities that served him well even in the highest office. His father, Lucius Aurelius Verus, though less present in his life, had a different yet equally profound influence. A man of action, his father was a powerful general, his triumphs echoing through the empire. Aurelius, however, valued not so much his father's military prowess as his unwavering dedication to duty. This example, though sometimes demanding, instilled in the young Aurelius a sense of responsibility, and the understanding that true power lay not in conquest, but in service. He learned that even a powerful emperor had a duty to his people, a commitment to justice and to the well-being of those under his rule. His relationship with his sister, Aurelia Fadilla, was perhaps the closest and most comforting. They shared a bond forged in childhood, built upon shared laughter and whispered secrets. He remembered their games in the palace gardens, the sun dappling through the leaves, the carefree joy of youth that seemed, in retrospect, almost impossibly precious. Though distance and circumstance sometimes separated them, their connection remained constant, a lifeline to the simplicity and affection of his younger years. Their correspondence, filled with intimate details and shared concerns, offers a poignant glimpse into the heart of an emperor, far from the heavy weight of his responsibilities. In those letters, he was not the emperor, but simply a brother, offering comfort and support. And then there was his wife, Faustina the Younger. Their relationship was a complex tapestry woven with threads of love, understanding, and perhaps a touch of the inevitable friction of any long-lasting union. Their marriage, though not always idyllic, bore the fruit of their children, a testament to their connection, a legacy that would extend beyond their lifetimes. He saw in their children reflections of himself and Faustina, a continuation of their shared history, a promise for the future. These children, too, reminded him of the gentler aspects of life, of the joys of laughter, and the enduring nature of family bonds. As the night grew deeper, the lamplight dimmed, and Aurelius's thoughts softened. His family, in all their complexities, were a constant current flowing through his life, grounding him in times of upheaval, offering comfort in times of solitude, and enriching him in countless immeasurable ways. They were, ultimately, a testament to the profound impact of human connection and the quiet solace found in the loving embrace of those closest to him. The gentle murmur of his own breath, the quiet rhythm of his pulse, the soft darkness of the night, all lulled him toward sleep, a peaceful respite, cradled in the memories of family and the quiet contentment they brought.
The chill autumn air carried the scent of wood smoke and damp earth as Emperor Xuanzang, nearing the end of his long reign, gazed out at his sprawling gardens. The vibrant colors of summer had faded, leaving behind a muted palette of browns and golds, mirroring perhaps the quiet fading of his own life. He felt the familiar weight of years pressing down, each wrinkle a testament to countless sunrises and sunsets witnessed from this very spot. He'd seen the empire flourish under his rule, a period of unprecedented peace and prosperity, but the seeds of its later decline, he knew, had already been sown. His passing, when it came, was peaceful, a gentle drifting off into the eternal twilight. The court mourned, of course. Flags were lowered, the vibrant silks of the imperial palace muted in deference to their departed sovereign. But the empire, vast and complex as it was, continued, its vast machinery of governance grinding on, albeit with a slight tremor in its rhythm. The transition of power, thankfully, was smooth. His carefully chosen successor, his son, ascended the throne with quiet dignity, inheriting both the crown and the weighty burden of responsibility. But Xuanzang's legacy extended far beyond the immediate transfer of power.
His life and writings, a collection of poems, philosophical essays, and detailed accounts of his reign, became a cornerstone of imperial scholarship for centuries to come. His poems, imbued with a deep understanding of nature and a quiet contemplation of the human condition, were studied and imitated by countless aspiring poets and calligraphers. They were not merely pretty verses, but profound reflections on the ephemeral nature of life, the fleeting beauty of the world, and the importance of embracing both joy and sorrow. They whispered of his personal journey, his triumphs and failures, his moments of profound clarity, and those shrouded in doubt. His essays, written in a clear and elegant style, offered practical advice on governance and administration, a testament to his pragmatic approach to ruling a vast and diverse empire. He stressed the importance of selecting capable officials, promoting justice and fairness, and fostering harmonious relationships with neighboring states. He believed in the strength of unity, in the power of collaboration rather than coercion. His words, passed down through meticulously copied scrolls, shaped the policies and practices of future generations of emperors, advisors, and officials. The impact of his historical accounts was equally profound. He meticulously documented his reign, offering detailed descriptions of court life, diplomatic negotiations, military campaigns, and economic policies. These were not mere chronicles, but valuable primary sources for historians, providing invaluable insights into the workings of the empire during its golden age. They weren't just records of events, but offered a deep perspective into the motivations, the challenges, and the complexities of ruling such a large and diverse nation. Even the architecture he commissioned, the elegant palaces and meticulously planned gardens, stood as physical manifestations of his vision. They were more than just beautiful structures. They reflected his personal philosophy, a harmonious blend of nature and human ingenuity, a testament to the careful balance between power and grace. As the generations passed, his empire underwent transformations, facing challenges and experiencing periods of both growth and decline. But Xuanzang's ideas, his words, and his legacy continue to echo through the ages, a quiet and persistent reminder of an era marked by wisdom, peace, and a profound appreciation for the simple beauty of life. His influence, like the slow and steady growth of an ancient tree, continues to shape the landscape of history. And as you drift off to sleep, allow the gentle rhythm of his story to lull you into a restful slumber.
Now, as the gentle rhythm of our voices washes over you, let's drift into the enduring wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who lived nearly 2,000 years ago. Imagine him, not as a powerful ruler atop a vast empire, but as a man wrestling with the same anxieties and uncertainties that touch each of us. His writings, collected in a book called Meditations, weren't intended for publication. They were personal reflections, a private journal of sorts. Yet these deeply personal thoughts have resonated through the centuries, offering solace and guidance to countless souls. What makes Marcus Aurelius's philosophy so enduring? It's his emphasis on what we can control. In a world swirling with chaos, wars, political intrigue, personal tragedies, he focuses our attention inward. He reminds us that we can't control external events, the actions of others, or even the weather, but we can control our own thoughts and reactions. We can choose how we respond to the ups and downs of life, to the inevitable setbacks and disappointments. This isn't about ignoring hardship, but about navigating it with grace and inner strength.
Think of it like this. Imagine a stormy sea. You can't stop the waves from crashing, but you can learn to navigate your boat through them. You can adjust your sails, brace yourself against the wind, and find a steady course, even amidst the turbulence. That's the essence of Stoicism, the philosophy that deeply influenced Marcus Aurelius. It's about finding calm in the storm, not by escaping the storm, but by finding your inner peace within it. His writings are filled with practical advice, small reminders to focus on the present moment, to appreciate the simple things, to be kind and compassionate. He encourages self-reflection, urging us to examine our own motives, to understand our weaknesses, and to strive for self-improvement. He wasn't perfect, of course. He was a man grappling with his own flaws and imperfections, just like us. But he constantly sought self-awareness, and that striving itself is a testament to his enduring wisdom. Today, as we face our own modern challenges, a world of rapid change, technological advancements, and global interconnectedness, Marcus Aurelius's message resonates powerfully. His emphasis on inner peace, on finding stability in the face of uncertainty, feels particularly relevant. People across the globe find comfort and guidance in his words, using his principles to manage stress, to navigate difficult relationships, and to discover a deeper sense of purpose. His simple yet profound insights continue to offer a pathway to a more fulfilling and meaningful life, a quiet strength in the face of life's relentless current. So as you drift off to sleep, let his words gently settle upon your mind, a quiet reassurance that even amidst chaos, inner peace is attainable. Let the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius guide your dreams, and may your sleep be deep and restful. Now, as the embers of the day fade, let's consider how the wisdom of the Stoics, those ancient thinkers, can still warm us in the chill winds of modern life. Imagine you're facing a stressful day at work, a mountain of emails piling up, deadlines looming. A Stoic wouldn't ignore these pressures, but they wouldn't let them control them either. Remember Epictetus's words, "It's not things themselves that disturb men, but their judgments about these things." The overflowing inbox isn't the problem, it's your reaction to it. Can you focus on what you can control? Your response, your effort, your dedication to completing tasks one by one? Let the anxieties about the unchangeable melt away like snow in the spring sun. Perhaps you encounter conflict, a disagreement with a colleague or loved one. The Stoic approach wouldn't be to win the argument at all costs, but to understand the other person's perspective. Try to see the situation from their eyes, to understand their motivations, even if you don't agree with them. This doesn't mean compromising your values, but it does mean approaching the situation with empathy and a willingness to listen. Remember, the goal is understanding, not victory. Let the gentle rhythm of your breath guide you towards calm consideration. Modern life often brings unexpected setbacks, a missed opportunity, a sudden illness, a financial difficulty. These events are inevitable. The Stoic wouldn't dwell on what could have been or what went wrong. Instead, they'd focus on what they can learn from the experience, what they can adapt, what they can improve. They would accept the situation as it is, finding the strength to move forward, not with resentment or despair, but with resilience and a quiet determination. Think about your relationship with your possessions. We are constantly bombarded with messages telling us to buy more, to acquire more. But true contentment, according to the Stoics, doesn't lie in material wealth.
It lies in appreciating what you already have, in finding joy in the simple things. A warm cup of tea, a sunny day, the laughter of a loved one. Let go of the desire for more. Find peace in what is already yours. Social media, with its constant stream of curated perfection, can be a significant source of stress. The Stoic approach would be to limit your exposure, to be mindful of its influence on your emotions. Don't compare your life to the highlight reels of others. Remember that these are carefully constructed portrayals, often far from the truth. Focus on cultivating genuine connections in your own life, on building relationships based on substance and meaning, not superficial appearances. Even amidst the chaos of daily life, the Stoics remind us to practice gratitude. Take a moment each day before you drift to sleep to reflect on the good things in your life, the small blessings that often go unnoticed. This consistent practice can shift your perspective, focusing your attention on what truly matters, fostering a sense of contentment and peace. Finally, remember self-care is not selfish. The Stoics emphasized the importance of physical and mental health. Make time for activities that nourish your soul. Reading, spending time in nature, pursuing a hobby. These are not luxuries, but necessities for maintaining a balanced and fulfilling life. As you prepare for sleep, remember these principles. Let them gently settle over you, a comforting blanket against the anxieties of the world. Let them guide you to a peaceful night's rest.
The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the Roman Empire, much as it did each evening during the reign of Marcus Aurelius. He wasn't just an emperor, he was a philosopher king, a man who wrestled with the complexities of leadership and life with equal measure. And it's from his struggles, his quiet meditations, his deeply personal reflections that we glean some of the most valuable lessons about living a meaningful life. Imagine him, perhaps in his study, the faint scent of parchment and ink in the air, the flickering lamplight illuminating the worn pages of his journals. He wrote not for glory, but for himself, a process of self-examination that allowed him to navigate the treacherous currents of power and personal turmoil. He understood deeply the importance of self-awareness. He knew that true strength wasn't about conquering others, but conquering oneself. The anxieties, the doubts, the impulses that tugged at the human heart. His writings, collected in meditations, aren't grand pronouncements from a throne, but intimate conversations with himself, a record of his ongoing efforts to become a better person. He reminds himself and us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, our responses to the world around us. The things outside our control, the weather, the actions of others, the inevitable march of time, are best left to fate. Accepting this doesn't mean giving up. It means freeing yourself from the unnecessary burden of worry and frustration. Aurelius understood that true leadership wasn't about wielding authority, but about serving others. He saw his role as emperor not as a position of power, but as a responsibility to the people he governed. He dedicated himself to justice, fairness, and the welfare of his citizens. He wasn't perfect, of course. Even the wisest among us stumble. But his consistent striving toward these ideals is what resonates so powerfully through the centuries. His reflections on death were not filled with fear, but with acceptance. He saw death not as an ending, but as a natural part of life's cycle, a transition rather than a termination. This perspective allowed him to live each day with a profound sense of urgency, appreciating the present moment without being consumed by anxieties about the future. He understood that time is precious, finite, a gift to be cherished. Every sunrise was a new opportunity for growth, for service, for self-improvement. Think about your own life. What are the areas where you need to exert more control? What are the external forces you can accept rather than fight? How can you better serve those around you? How can you cultivate a greater sense of gratitude for the present moment? These are the questions Aurelius pondered, and the answers he found are as relevant today as they were in ancient Rome. His life, his writings, are a testament to the power of self-reflection, not as a mere exercise in introspection, but as a vital tool for living a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Let his quiet wisdom lull you into a peaceful slumber, a quiet echo of his own contemplative spirit. Breathe deeply, release your anxieties, and drift off into the quiet night. The sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. Imagine yourself nestled comfortably, the weight of the day gently slipping away. Tonight, we explore the quiet strength of Stoicism, a philosophy born in ancient Greece, offering a path to inner peace, a balm for the restless mind. It wasn't about suppressing emotions, you see, but understanding them, accepting them, and finding a way to navigate life's inevitable challenges with grace. Picture a bustling marketplace in ancient Rome. Amidst the chaos, a Stoic philosopher, perhaps Epictetus, sits calmly observing. He doesn't flinch at the raised voices or jostling crowds. He understands that these external events, these things outside his control, are simply events. His focus remains within, on his own thoughts and actions. This is the core of Stoicism, focusing on what we can control, releasing our grip on what we cannot. Think about the anxieties that might weigh on your mind, worries about work, relationships, or the future. Stoicism doesn't promise to erase these concerns, but it offers a framework to manage them. It suggests that we ask ourselves, is this worry truly within my power to change? If the answer is no, then release that worry. Let it drift away like a leaf on a gentle stream. Accept what is, and focus your energy on what you can influence, your responses, your actions, your inner strength. This isn't about passive resignation, it's about active acceptance. Imagine a farmer whose crops are destroyed by a storm. A Stoic response wouldn't be to curse fate or fall into despair. Instead, it would be to acknowledge the loss, grieve if necessary, and then begin the process of rebuilding, planting new seeds, planning for the future. The storm was beyond his control, but his response, his resilience, was entirely his own. The beauty of Stoicism lies in its practicality. It's not a set of rigid rules, but a way of living, a lens through which to view the world. It encourages self-reflection, reminding us to examine our judgments and motivations. Are we reacting from fear or anger, or from a place of reason and understanding? Stoicism encourages us to cultivate virtue, wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, as these are the things that truly bring lasting fulfillment. As you drift towards sleep, imagine yourself breathing deeply, slowly letting go of anxieties. Let the image of the calm Stoic philosopher settle in your mind. Feel the serenity that comes from focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, your responses. Allow yourself to simply be present, in this moment, at peace. The world outside might be turbulent, but within, you cultivate a quiet, unwavering strength. And in that strength, you find your peace. Let the stillness of Stoicism guide you to a restful night. The wind whispers secrets through the ancient olive groves, much like the quiet strength that resided within Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who found peace amidst the chaos of his world. Imagine him, not as a powerful ruler on a magnificent throne, but as a man, weary from the weight of his responsibilities, seeking solace in the stillness of the dawn. He found it not in outward displays of power, but in the quiet contemplation of his own thoughts and actions. His journey wasn't one of effortless triumph. He faced betrayals, wars, and the constant pressure of maintaining an empire. Yet, through it all, a steady inner light guided him. This wasn't some magical power, but a deliberate practice of self-reflection, a careful cultivation of his inner self. He understood that true strength wasn't about dominating others, but about mastering oneself. Think of your own life, the challenges that weigh upon you, the anxieties that creep into your thoughts. Perhaps you're grappling with a difficult decision, or feeling overwhelmed by the demands of your daily life. Aurelius's story offers a path, a quiet whisper in the midst of the storm. It suggests that our greatest strength lies not in escaping these challenges, but in facing them with a calm, collected mind. It's a journey of self-discovery, of peeling back the layers of expectation and societal pressure to find the core of your being. Imagine sitting quietly, like Aurelius amidst his gardens, breathing deeply, feeling the earth beneath your feet. Notice the sensations in your body, the rise and fall of your breath. Allow yourself to simply be, without judgment, without the need to fix or change anything. This isn't about ignoring problems. Rather, it's about finding a place of inner peace from which to address them. Imagine approaching a challenging situation not with panic or anger, but with a quiet determination, a sense of calm centeredness that allows you to think clearly and act effectively. Aurelius found this strength in his philosophy, in his practice of Stoicism. But you don't need to delve into ancient philosophical texts to find your own resilience. Perhaps it's in spending time in nature, listening to calming music, or engaging in a creative pursuit. Perhaps it's in connecting with loved ones, finding comfort in shared experiences and mutual support. The path to inner strength is personal. It's a quiet journey of self-discovery, a gradual unfolding of your own capacity for resilience. It's about recognizing your own strengths, acknowledging your weaknesses without judgment, and learning to navigate the complexities of life with grace and composure. It's about cultivating an inner sanctuary, a place of peace and quiet strength, where you can replenish your spirit and find the courage to face whatever lies ahead. Let the gentle rhythm of your breath guide you. Allow yourself to drift into a state of peaceful awareness. Feel the quiet strength that resides within you, the resilience that has carried you this far, the potential that waits to be discovered. You possess within you the same quiet strength that sustained Aurelius, the ability to find peace amidst chaos, and the fortitude to navigate life's inevitable challenges with grace and dignity. And as you drift off to sleep, remember the quiet whisper of inner strength, ever present, waiting to be embraced.
The flickering candlelight dances on the stone walls, casting long shadows that stretch and shrink with the gentle breathing of the night. Imagine yourself nestled comfortably,
the weight of the day melting away like snow in the spring sun. Tonight we journey to a quiet place within, a place the ancient Stoics knew well, the present moment. They understood, these wise philosophers, that chasing after what might be, or dwelling on what has been, is a fruitless pursuit. It's like trying to grasp smoke. The harder you try, the more it slips through your fingers. True peace, they discovered, resides not in the future's uncertainties, nor the past's regrets, but in the gentle unfolding of now. Picture a farmer tending his field. He doesn't fret about the harvest months away. He focuses on the task at hand, weeding, watering, nurturing each seedling. He finds satisfaction not in the imagined bounty, but in the rhythmic act of caring for his crop, in the feel of the earth beneath his hands, in the warmth of the sun on his face. That, my friend, is the essence of living in the present moment. Think of the weaver patiently threading her loom. She doesn't concern herself with the finished tapestry, only with the careful placement of each thread, the intricate dance of her fingers. The beauty emerges not from a frantic rush, but from a quiet, deliberate attention to the present. And you, dear listener, what is your loom? What are the threads you weave into the fabric of your life? Perhaps it's the words you speak, the kindness you offer, the work you do. Each action, each breath, each thought is a thread, contributing to the overall pattern. Don't let worry about the future or sadness about the past unravel your work. Instead, breathe deeply. Feel the air fill your lungs, expanding your chest. Notice the gentle rhythm of your heartbeat, a steady drumbeat accompanying the quiet symphony of the night. Let your senses guide you. What do you hear? The gentle rustle of leaves outside your window, perhaps. The soft tick-tock of a clock. What do you smell? The comforting scent of your bedding, maybe, or the faint sweetness of night-blooming jasmine. This awareness, this mindful attention to the here and now, is a powerful antidote to anxiety and regret. It allows you to appreciate the small, everyday wonders that often go unnoticed in the whirlwind of our lives. The warmth of a cup of tea, the laughter of a loved one, the simple beauty of a sunrise. These are the jewels of the present moment, shimmering with a light that illuminates our path. Let go of the need to control, to predict, to anticipate. Embrace the uncertainty, the fluidity of life. Just as a river flows, effortlessly adapting to the bends and curves of its course, so too should you allow yourself to flow with the current of existence. Trust in the process, trust in yourself, and find solace in the quiet beauty of this very moment. And as you drift off to sleep, remember the wisdom of the Stoics. Peace lies not in chasing tomorrows, but in cherishing today. Sleep soundly, and may your dreams be filled with the quiet joy of the present. Good night, and sweet dreams. The fireflies have long since faded, their tiny lights extinguished one by one, mirroring the slow closing of your eyelids. The crickets continue their gentle chirping, a lullaby woven from the heart of the summer night. Imagine yourself nestled deep within a field of wildflowers, the soft scent of lavender and chamomile drifting on the evening breeze. The air is warm, but not oppressive. A gentle coolness rests on your skin as the sun dips further below the horizon. Perhaps you're lying on a soft bed of moss, its springy texture cradling you as the stars begin their nightly dance across the inky canvas of the sky. Each tiny spark is a distant sun, a world of its own, teeming with untold wonders. Let your gaze drift amongst them, allowing the vastness of the universe to wash over you, a comforting sense of peace and belonging. Feel the weight of the day melt away, your worries gently dissolving into the darkness like wisps of smoke. Nearby, a small stream murmurs its evening song, a quiet ripple against the stillness of the night. Listen closely, and you can almost hear the whispered secrets of the water, flowing gently on its timeless journey. It carries with it the echoes of ancient forests and forgotten civilizations, tales whispered on the wind and etched into the stones. These are stories for another time, for when you are awake and your mind is sharp and alert. Tonight, let them rest undisturbed, carried away on the stream's gentle current. Let your breath come slow and deep, a steady rhythm mirroring the slow, deliberate beat of your heart. Feel your chest rise and fall, each inhalation bringing in the cool night air, each exhalation releasing the tension from your body. Your muscles relax, your limbs becoming heavy, sinking into the softness of your bed. Your mind slows, letting go of the day's events, the to-do lists and deadlines, the conversations and concerns. They are all put away, safely tucked into a quiet corner of your memory, ready to be accessed again when the sun rises. The moon, a silent sentinel in the heavens, watches over you, its soft light bathing you in its gentle glow. It's a witness to countless nights, to the rise and fall of empires, to the quiet joy of 1,000 dreams. Tonight it watches over you, offering its silent blessing of rest and tranquility. Sleep now, safe and sound, under its watchful eye. Let the silence of the night embrace you, a comforting blanket of quietude. Let the gentle sounds of nature lull you into a deep, restful sleep. Drift away on the tide of tranquility, surrendering to the embrace of slumber. Let your body and mind find rest, rejuvenation, and peace. Tomorrow awaits, but tonight it is time to simply be, to rest and to dream. Sleep now and dream sweet dreams. Good night.